everybody, it's Tammy, and welcome back to my craft room here at Creative Girl Vintage. Today, we are going to make vintage inspired snowmen. My inspiration for this project came from my little vintage snowmen that I pick up at the flea market, and I thought it would be really fun to recreate these little guys. And also, one of my subscribers and Etsy shop supporter and truly a kindred spirit, her name is Terry, and she sent me that little project that she made with the darling little snowman, a little tea time block. Look at the little tea set. She spared no details. She's such a wonderful crafter. So I want to thank the lovely Terry for this lovely little snowman project, and it definitely sparked the snowman vibe for today. So let me gather up everything that we need, and we're going to make some vintage inspired snowmen. There's a lot of little components that I put together when making this, and I found it was easier to kind of make each piece. There's painting, there's glittering, there's glue drying, so it's like make it all, kind of set it aside, and then we'll put it all together once we have all of our pieces ready to go. So that's kind of how we're going to work today. The first thing we're going to do, let's start from the bottom up and let's make this stand. Now what I did here was grabbed a 2 1/4 inch hole punch, and this one is scalloped. Usually on the vintage examples of these, the bases are always a little scallop. So I wanted to kind of recreate that as well. Piece of cardstock. You can grab whatever color you want, whatever works. And once again, when you're doing your base here, keep things in proportion. We're going to talk about that in a second. But as you can see, this guy's a little bigger. So this is the 2 1/4 inch paper punch, and now this guy, he's a little bit smaller, so I think I used the 2 inch just to kind of make things a little smaller. So just use your judgment as you're putting your little snowmen together. I am popping out 3 of these guys. We're going to have a good strong stand. Okay, so let's grab a little bit of Fabrifix for this. You can really use any kind of glue that your heart desires. Hold on, let me just clean this tip. Okay, and I am just going to go around, kind of making sure I get close to my edges here. And I'm just going to glue these together. You can do a couple of things here. You can put the scallops evenly together that look like this. Okay, let me just put a little more glue in this one. I'll show you something else I did with these two. Oops. Or you can kind of go in between the scallop there and create even more scallops. So whatever you like. Okay, so let's kind of scrunch all this together. Instead of using hot glue, the Fabrifix will give you like a little bit of time to line up the way you want it. Okay, this is really strong. This is going to hold up for a long time, and we're going to just set this aside, and we're going to move on to the feet and the body. All right, we're going to be working with these styrofoam balls, okay? And I just want to put it out there that they're kind of all over the place. For example, I know these came from Michael's, and they said they were 1.8 inches, but when I cut one, I was getting a 2 inch diameter. This was from Michael's, this was from Hobby Lobby. Both say they are 1.3 inches, but you can see, obviously, there is a huge difference in size on both of these. And also, when I wanted to do my little feet here, I was having trouble finding a size that would be in proportion. So I did find, I had these. They were a decorative filler. I know these came from Michael's, probably from Christmas last year. These were already glittered, but there was a small little styrofoam ball inside each one. So I basically went with that. These were already glittered, which wasn't ideal, but it really was no big deal. So when I talk about proportion here, I would suggest, instead of ordering online, which every time it seemed like I ordered a styrofoam ball online, it would be too small or it'd be weird. So I think go to your craft store, look at what they have and kind of put things together, you know, proportion wise. If you want to do a big size, little size, you could do any size. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want these two to go together to be a snowman, obviously. So, you know, you can just kind of get a visual on it in the craft store. All right. Okay. So for my little feet, I am going to just take, this is a serrated edge knife from my kitchen. I'm going to take a little slice off the bottom right here, and that's going to sit flatter. It's just going to work better, and pop a little toothpick on it, and it will make it easier for when we get to painting. Now, for the feet, if you can't find something that's good in proportion, you could always use a wooden bead. In this case, on this guy here, I used pom-poms. So look around and see what you can find. These are some spun cotton paper balls, and these really kind of lined up, so that could be another thing you can use. And as always, all the crafting supplies that I'm using today, I will link in the description box below this video. So I'll give you all my sizes, and it'll give you a little starting place to go from there. Okay, this is our 2-inch styrofoam ball here, and we're not going to cut this in half. I found that to be really super difficult, but I'm kind of wanting to use like 3/4 of it. So I want to just start shaving a little bit off. So I'm just going to do some little slices here, and as you can see, it's much neater. Like the little slices that come off are way neater than trying to like just take a big chunk off at one time. It was kind of a disaster when I did that. So just kind of sawing it till you sort of get it where you want it, and I'm almost there. Let me just take another small slice off there, and you can see it stays really neat too. Okay, let's pop a toothpick on that one. And what I used color-wise was pretty much these two colors here. I had a Lisa pink and a spa blue. Okay, so those are the colors I used, and I just basically painted. I painted this one pink, and I painted this one the spa blue for the body, and I let the paint dry. Got out a little bit of glitter. I always use just kind of just a crystal clear glitter. I let that dry really good as well. And then I put a coat of Mod Podge over the top of it, the gloss Mod Podge. And you can see your glitter will not come off. And it has a real frosty, pretty look about it. Not as pretty as if it's just sprinkled with glitter. But if you don't want glitter all over the place, this is a good tip. Okay, so since everything's on a toothpick, it's all painted and drying. This is one of my sanding blocks. Look, you guys, this makes like the best little holder for when you're wanting to let your little styrofoam balls dry. So I love this. I usually use a big chunk of styrofoam, and this was like way better. Okay, so now all of our paint is drying. All of our project materials are getting ready. We're going to move on to the head. For the head on the bigger snowman, I had a spun cotton ball, which would be more authentic to the vintage snowman. But if you can't find one of these, this is the smaller styrofoam ball that I used on this little guy right here. And I painted it with parchment, this folk art parchment paint. And I feel like it really came close to looking like a spun cotton ball. Very close. So that's a great option. And don't worry, all these sizes I'm using for the big snowman and little snowman will be listed below, so you have a jumping off point when you're starting your snowman. Okay, let's just set that aside, and let's do our head. Put a toothpick in, and that'll kind of give you a guide for starting. What I'm going to use for my nose is, I've just got so much like sewing supplies. I'm going to use a straight pin every time I'm at the flea market and I see anything that's like sewing supplies or vintage sewing supplies. I have to have them. So I got way too much of that stuff, that's for sure. So I'm going to take my little straight pin here. I'm really not going to cut it in half. I'm going to go in a little bit closer. And when you're doing this, cover this up with your hand, you guys. This is dangerous. And cut. And this thing's going to go flying, and you don't want it to go flying in your face. So be sure to cover your hand up when you do that. Okay, so I'm going to pop my nose right in the middle. And that gives me a good starting point there. A little pom-pom works good for the nose too. This is a little thing of blush that I just keep in my craft room, left over from my makeup upstairs. And I'm just going to give my face here some rosy cheeks. So cute. Okay, rosy cheeks in place. All right, now I'm going to use a pencil to kind of sketch out what I want for my face because I don't trust myself to go straight into it. So it's good to have like a little guideline. And I just did a couple circles for the eyes, and he had a little bit of a eyebrow, and he had a little smile right here. I tried a couple of things. This is the Ultra Fine Point Sharpie. I found that I like this the best. The paint, a paint on a little artist, tiny little fine tip brush works good too. But I found that to be like a little harder to do. And I had some other markers that really bled. This will bleed just a little bit, but not enough really to make any difference. So I'll just go across like this and make a smile. Okay, there's our little face. Okay, and I did the exact same thing here on the styrofoam ball. Same thing. All right, face is ready, body's ready. We are going to, oh no, we have one more thing to do. We're gonna coffee dye some of this little bump chenille. And I think that's going to probably get us to the point where all of our components are ready. So let me get that out and we'll do that next. All right, you guys, this is the bump chenille. You can see it kind of bumps out. I guess that's where it gets its name. And it's a little bit fuzzier. So I actually linked this one below. I got to tell you, I thought it was a little wimpy. So if you want to look around for that at the craft store when you're looking for your styrofoam balls, you're probably going to be better off. This is some that I had, and you can see it's just a little bit better quality. So this was probably from one of the craft stores. So I got 2 pieces here that I already coffee dyed. We're going to use for arms, and here's what I did. I have a little spray bottle here, and I made up in a measuring cup 2 big heaping spoonfuls of instant coffee. And I'll put some hot water, maybe a cup of hot water, stir it up, let it cool down a little bit, throw it in my spray bottle, put a few drops of rubbing alcohol in there, and it's never going to get moldy. I've had this for quite a while. This, as you can see, this is looking like it's seen better days. I laid this out on a piece of cardboard, scrap cardboard, and I spritzed it. And let it dry. If you want to speed up drying, put it on your hair dryer, but I really like the effect, and it gave it truly a vintage feel. Okay. All right. So we've got everything, I believe, all of our components here. And what we're going to do now is we are going to assemble our snowman. Finally, here we go. Let's assemble. Okay. Let's take our little base, and we have our 2 little round balls here. I'm going to use hot glue and attach them right on to the center of the base. Now, you guys, there is an option too. If you don't want to do the round balls for the feet, or maybe can't find the right size, this little guy right here, I just sliced a little bit off of this styrofoam ball and set him right on his little base right there. And I think he looks super cute too. So you don't even have to do the feet. All right, here is our body, and this is going to go right on top of the feet. So let's just hit that with a bit of glue and pop that body right on there like so. Okay. It has a little bit, I put a little bit of slant on it, so it's not like completely straight up and down. It has a little bit of a slant to it. Okay. Now, here's our head, and I'm just going to shoot some glue in that hole, put that toothpick back in there, and cut this down. This is just a little bit of reinforcement here. Okay. And I have my little awl. I'm just going to make a kind of a little pilot hole here just to get started. Okay, good. And around the bottom, and we're just going to put our head right in there like so. Okay. Our little man is looking cute. So I have a little plastic black top hat here, and these are linked below for you as well. And do you guys ever do like a double gluing? Like I'm going to do a little bit of Fabrifix here and a little bit of hot glue, and the hot glue is going to hold it immediately. That Fabrifix is going to really make it stay on there. It'll be nice and strong when it dries. So I use 2 glues. Okay. And then using my little awl again, I am going to pop in some little holes right here for our arms. And let's see. Those are going right in there. Little glue. Oh, it's so sweet. All right, we have a couple little finishing touches here. I'll grab that out and we will finally get our little snowman done. All right, let's add the finishing touches. I've got a little bit of vintage pipe cleaner here, and the traditional vintage snowman like this have a little scarf made out of it. So it just basically goes around his neck and twists. And you can cut off the excess of that. Okay, and just a quick FYI here with the spray we made out of the coffee for the coffee dye. I actually, when he was finished, I gave him just like a little tiny spritz and let it dry just a little bit, and you can see it really brought out kind of a little darker vintage look to him. So that's another way of aging your little snowman if you want to. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do here is just add some buttons onto his little coat. And you can do a couple of things. There's little black pom-poms. Look at these, you guys. I got these at a garage sale years ago, and it's little tiny felt dots. Those look really good. But here's like a really quick little thing that anybody can do. And I'm just using my little hole punch here. Just a little office hole punch, and when you open this up, you have like perfect little circles, and these make the best little buttons. I'll just use a little hot glue to pop them on in place. Cute. Okay, we've got little buttons in place there, and just one of my rubber stamps that I had. It was Season's Greetings, and I just inked that up. And this is a coffee dyed piece of index card. You can use really anything. And then I cut it out, and I'm just going to glue it on to his little hand here. And you can adjust his little hands to go anywhere. And then the final finishing touch, let's grab a little Mod Podge, and since we're done really handling him, we can glitter his base. So just add a layer of that on, and a little bit of glitter, and we just recreated a darling little vintage snowman. Aren't these so cute? I just wanted to say a quick thing about the styrofoam balls. This is your usual styrofoam. These are the smooth ones that I used today. These paint well, these not so much. So just keep that in mind when you're picking out your styrofoam balls. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And I will be back soon with another creative projects. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.